Okay, so let's resume. Got everything where it needs to be here. Okay. Yeah, my accent. Okay, I don't think there's much on this floor. I think there's just ammo and whatnot. We're gonna go ahead and be bold here, though. We do have some health items to use. Yeah, we're not. We have the pyramid head chase scene coming up. We really don't need to heal much, I don't think. So we can kind of use this health to supplement our low ammo situation. Switch back to chainsaw. Try to get some work here. There's at least one room. I think there's a room at the end of this hall with a couple enemies and a unique sound effect that plays. It's worth going in there just for the sound effect alone. We need the ammo too, really. So if we can pull this off. That works for me. I'm not gonna lie, the last time I played through this, that sound effect got me. I just forgot it played, even though I've been in here countless times. It just didn't dawn on me that, you know, this was the room where that happened, and it made me jump a little bit. If we stay in here, it'll just keep happening, too. There it is again. I think that was actually slightly different, too. That glass breaking noise. If I'm not mistaken, that was just like a slightly different sound effect. The beginning of the labyrinth? No. We're still in the hospital. We just finished the Flesh Lips fight, you know? And then we transitioned, we had that Jacob's Ladder transition. And now we've stepped out into the hall. So we're in the alternate hospital now. We're still in Brookhaven. See here, we're just in the alternate version of it. Yeah, you're a bit ahead of yourself. Yes, sir. We're not too far away, though. Oh, wait, what? Oh, we can go in here as well. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was totally worth. I was considering just skipping this hall, just because, I don't know why. It's a bit stressful clearing these enemies, I'm not gonna lie. It can be a bit finicky. I think that's what we want from this floor, though, just those... Ah! Oh my god, they respawned. It's terrifying. That kinda startled me. That hurt, too. One of them smacked me. Yeah, this is not looking so great. Yeah, I mean, that was a while back. That was last stream. You're talking about jumping through the from the Woodside apartment to the Blue Creek apartment? Is that what you mean? Yeah. Lord. Well, that went really well. For some reason, I expected the lady of the door to be there, but that's the third floor. Get the middle of the game scrambled. Yeah. Really interesting design here. I got the dry cell battery. I got the basement storeroom key. Part of the wallpaper is torn. I can see something drawn on the wall beneath. Are those hands searching for something? Or are they just a sign of pain? There's a piece of paper on the bed. I was locked up inside the basement's basement. It was so small and dark, and I was so afraid. I dropped my precious ring, but I will never ever go back there. Golem reference? My dear God. Yeah, that room's not worth. Just doing this for leave ending purposes. I forgot I was going to use the blue gem in that area so we could maybe get the UFO ending, but I forgot to do it, so that's over. Definitely not going to be getting that ending. Yeah. The micromanager in me is very upset with this the situation, ammo-wise here. I also should have had the foresight to see what I mean about the chainsaw here, though? Like, imagine if I was just using the pistol. If I had to just clear all those enemies with the pistol, I'd be out of ammo right now. For sure. It's no joke. We need at least, like, 20 or 30 rounds. I guess at least 20 rounds to get through the Pyramid Head chase sequence here. Didn't you use the pipe in the playthrough? No, I don't think so. I mean, maybe a little bit, but not in this section. You can't really use the pipe against the nurses. They end up just hitting you too often. I just used the pistol. In the playthrough I did on the channel, I basically cleared every room, though. This one I'm not clearing every room. I love this design, though. This is up there with my favorite areas in the game. I'm not a huge fan of the hospital in general. There's some cool things in the hospital, but this is really cool right here to me. Like, what is this? This is just like, I mean, is this just the cult? Is this the order? Essentially? Like, people from the town, like in the olden times, like, you know how we got the lost... I'm not sure if you were here when I read Lost Memories. But we actually, this is something I missed in the, well, I didn't really miss it in the playthrough I did for the channel because it was a fresh save, and this is something that only appears after your first playthrough. This and the Crimson Ceremony. Crimson Ceremony appears, you know, for the rebirth ending, and we'll pick that up as well. But if you haven't seen this, man, you'll like this. I'll go ahead and read this for you, just in case you missed it. The name comes from the legend of the people whose land was stolen from them. They called this place the Place of the Silent Spirits. By spirits, they meant not only their dead relatives, but also the spirits they believed inhabited the trees, rocks, and water around them. According to legend, this was where the holiest ceremonies took place. But it was not the ancestors of those who now live in this town that first stole the land from these people. There were others who came before. In those days, this town went by another name, but that name is now hopelessly lost in the veils of time. All we know is that there was another name, and that for some reason, the town was once abandoned by its residents. Really interesting. Lots of great lore here, just potential lore. I mean, you really can use your imagination here. Who are these people? Is this... I mean, this feels very religious to me. This feels very occult, if you will. But yeah, no, before the power went out, man, like I was, you said something about this game not having a lot of cult stuff in it. It doesn't compared to 1, certainly doesn't have as much as 3. But there is some cult stuff in this, man. There's plenty of it, actually. Like this right here, that book I just read, everything in Maria's scenario, Ernest, you know, his backdrop. We actually find the Book of Lost Memories in his office. Like, Maria finds it. It's just a slightly different variant of what we just read. It's just a different passage. There's also the prison that we get to later on. There's that cell with... It's not the halo of the sun, necessarily, but it's like the halo. It's like a variant of the halo. It's the same sort of runic symbols and etchings. And there's all kinds of occult books and whatnot, and references to, you know, things that the Order would be interested in, would very much so be interested in. And there's even, there's those invisible entities that are basically, I think they're just occult members. They're members of the Order, and they're saying ritual in that section. They're just going, ritual. And you can kill them. And whenever you kill them, they stop saying that. it's interesting. Really interesting aspect of this game. It is in the background, as you say. It's not at the forefront of the story like Silent Hill 3. But it's there. It's part of the history of the town. It's inevitable. I love this background noise here too, this ambience. It almost sounds like something out of Terminator. There's a scrap of paper on the ground. Just some doodle. Huh, something is written on it. She is an angel, no one knows, only I can see the lady of the door. They cannot walk along her bridge of thread, they fall from the weight of their crimes. Like bloated and ugly corpses, their sins, she devours them. Sin and sinner alike, she saves me, she is an angel. So probably Joseph here with the run-on sentences. Oh my god! That's so dirty. No. We're not doing this. Good lord, man. They did some damage there. This is rough. I'm gonna have to think about how I want to do this for these in-depth playthroughs. I don't want to go through this every time. I'm gonna have to think about when I want to clear these enemies and when I don't. Because clearly when I go here to the other world, it's gonna be more painful. They're gonna respawn too many times for me to deal with. There's something, I think there's another room here. Well, I can go into Maria's room and we can check out. We can see that she's missing. Yeah. There are empty medicine bottles here. Is this what Maria was taking? Is Maria sick now too? Maria's not here. Where could she have gone? No blue binder. No blue binder where? Oh, from Joseph. No, it was just like a clipboard, actually. It was just a clipboard sitting on the, that bench. Joseph has left us messages from a number of different locations. He left us a message from that typewriter, the imprint on carbon paper. There was, you know, the message written in blood by his box on the 3rd floor. There's the other message written in blood in his cell. And then there's that notepad. So here we have a save point. This is a really interesting little area here, actually. I once watched Three Dog play through the game. I've watched him play through the game a lot over the years. I've been following Three Dog since the Justin TV days. But I've seen him play through before, and there was one time he was just like hanging out talking in here. I'm not sure if it was like at this stage in the game, or if it was after he picked up Maria. I can't quite recall where it was. But he was just like hanging out in here talking to chat for like, 3 or 4 minutes, and all of a sudden you could hear this, the sound that it makes whenever Pyramid Head is dragging a sword nearby. That sound of like heavy metal scraping on the ground. That sound effect just started playing here, like right in this exact area. That's the first and only time I've ever heard that sound effect play. One of these days, I'd like to capture that moment for myself. I'll point out like another area as well, where just in one of the last couple playthroughs I did, I ran into a new sound effect that I've never heard before. It is pretty awesome. That's like the most rewarding part about doing these repeat playthroughs for this game. And I'm not sure what's going on with the baby screaming noises. Like I mentioned, I was talking a bit about it in the beginning of the playthrough, because it kind of sounds like a baby screaming in the Woodside Apartments before that first run-in with Pyramid Head in the hallway. I'm not sure if, maybe Mary and James didn't lose a child along the way as well. And maybe that's just some other part of, messing with James's mind here. But it's certainly not really suggested other than that sound effect, necessarily those couple sound effects that play. And this used to throw me off here. I don't know why this threw me off for so long, but you're looking at this shelf here with these bloody handprints. There are red handprints on the shelf. Move the shelf. And then as soon as you move it, it opens up this little back area here with, a ladder. But as soon as you try to go down the ladder, this happens.
James!
Mary? Oh, Maria. It's you. I thought you were... Sorry. Anyway, I'm glad you're alive.
Anyway? What do you mean, anyway? You don't sound very happy to see me. I was almost killed back there. Why didn't you try to save me? All you care about is that dead wife of yours. I've never been so scared in my whole life. You couldn't care less about me, could you?
No, I
Then
just...
stay with me. Don't ever leave me alone. You're supposed to take care of me. So, what about Laura? Did you find her?
Yeah, but... she ran away.
We've got to find her.
You really seem to care about her. Do you know her?
I've never met her before. I just feel sorry for her. She's all alone. And for some reason, I feel like it's up to me to protect her.
So one of those classic scenes. But yeah, no, this scene always, well, not always, but it used to throw me off because you're looking at this shelf, you move it, you interact with this, pathway back here where it looks like you're going to go down into the basement. And then that cinematic plays and just the door opens up. It's like, wait, how did this ladder turn into a door all of a sudden? But no, Maria comes in from behind us here, from where we came in, and surprises us. But we have that that signature shift in personality. Maria bouncing back and forth between Mary and her own version of Mary. You know, she's eager to have James protect her, like Mary was eager to have James protect her and look after her. Very vulnerable in that sense. But then life happened. That's one way of putting it. I got the copper ring. Alright. Not much to look at here, but we can put this on the Lady of the Door's hand. One of the rings we need. Now that we have Maria, we can actually go back to the second floor. And that baby screaming sound effect plays still. Was this originally on PS2? Yes, that's what it's being played on right now, man. I'm playing this from a PS2. Yeah, I put it in the title, yeah. Okay, so bear with me here, but I'm gonna save. And I'm just gonna sit here for like 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and see if that sound effect triggers that I was talking about earlier. I don't think it will. Probably pretty unlikely that it will. But it's worth a shot, right? So I'm gonna try it here. Like, here's the thing with this, with these sound effects. Like, I feel like it's all about when you do it in some cases. Like, sometimes it's not gonna play no matter what. Like, there are certain sound effects, like the crying man in the Lakeview Hotel, that just simply will not play most playthroughs. So I'm guessing this is one of those really rare sound effects that's just probably not gonna play most playthroughs. But, you know, it may only trigger after you put the rings on the Lady of the Door and open up that door to, you know, the Pyramid Head chase. Maybe it only triggers beforehand. You know, who knows? Yeah, I've never tried to emulate PlayStation. I'm not entirely sure why, but... Okay, I think we've sat here long enough. I hope that everything is still clear after spending way too much time killing enemies earlier. It seems like it is. See, I'm gonna have to figure out the proper way to do this. Because this is one of those luxury moments wherein, you know, after you get Maria back, it's nice to have all these enemies dead. You know, if you put in the time to kill them all. Oh, here we go. Those really shouldn't be alive. Those really, they shouldn't be alive, to be honest. Like the last handful of playthroughs I've done, I haven't killed the enemies nearly this much, and they just kind of stop respawning. So I'm not entirely sure what's happening here.
Correctly and receive the punishment. It all depends on you. And our lucky, or should I say unlucky challenger today is James. James Sunderland! Are you ready to play trick or treat? Okay, here's your first question. Merry-go-round, haunted house, roller coaster, Ferris wheel, and teacup. Silent Hill is home to a thrilling amusement park that both children and adults love. The question is, what is the name of this amusement park? 1. Fantasyland. 2. Silent Hill Amusement Park. 3. Lakeside Amusement Park. Okay, quickly on to question number 2. Silent Hill witnessed a gruesome murder a few years back. A brother and sister were playing in the road when they were attacked and chopped into pieces with an axe. Torn flesh, smashed bones, splattered blood, and finally, what a terrible tragedy. What a gruesome end to such innocent lives. What was the name of the murderer who committed this vile act? 1. Walter Sullivan. 2. Scott Fairbanks. 3. Eric Gale. Now for our third and final question. South of the lake is a deserted old neighborhood called South Vale. From there to Pale Vale, the central resort area northwest of the lake, there's only one road you can take. Just one road, no more. The third and final question is, what is the name of that road? 1. Bachman Road. 2. Rindell Street. 3. Nathan Avenue. Well, that's the last of our questions. Have you got it all figured out? When you know the answers, head to the storeroom on the 3rd floor to collect your prizes. But be careful if you're wrong. Well then, everybody, thanks for tuning in. See you again sometime. Bye-bye.
What was that?
I really can't believe there's still enemies here. Like I just opened the door and I'm about to get smacked in the face by a nurse. This is very distressing. I'm not gonna lie. There's a really weird sound effect that plays here. It almost... It only plays whenever there's enemies active in the hallway. It sounds like a muffled, like, bird call or something. It's really weird. I don't know how to emulate it. If I could, I would, but I'm sure you can hear it on occasion. Never finished because I got bogged down, lost in a spot. I was only renting it at the time, yeah. This is one of those games where it's gonna be tough to rent, certainly. But we didn't come in here earlier. If we had, we wouldn't have been able to open this. We get a message saying something like it's too heavy to open the door. But now that Maria's here, there's something that looks like a refrigerator.
You can't open it?
Yeah, Maria, give me a hand here.
Come on. You're supposed to be the big man around here. How's a little girl like me supposed to help? What's this? Not very cute, is it? Here, James. You take it.
Thanks.
James, this voice acting here. You gotta wonder what they were thinking here. Thanks. I mean, what is that? Was that just like a Twin Peaks thing where they were just trying to do some sort of quippy kind of Twin Peaks vibe and it just misfired? I love that scene though. How's a little girl like me supposed to help? I was listening to you talk about the drill in FF6. How it may not be necessary to cause the chainsaw was coming up. Really? You watched some of that playthrough, huh? I'm glad, man. I'm glad, some people watch that. It's sad. I still haven't finished that playthrough. I have a Final Fantasy VII playthrough. This is really sad as well. I have a Final Fantasy VII playthrough. It's done. I'm not kidding. Like from start to finish with commentary. I haven't gotten around to editing and rendering at all. It took so long to play through and do all the commentary, and I had certain things pop up, and I was like, oh god, I just don't have the time to edit this for the channel. But I'm gonna, one of these days, I will. So there was only one enemy. Really? There was just the one. That's straight up bizarre. Yeah, my ammo situation is pathetic. So yeah, the answers to that the elevator quiz is 313. We're actually gonna get stocked up a little bit there. So, and I guess we're just gonna go do that right now. I hope you can be around, man. You really do. Like a 3-year or something like that belated conclusion with just you and Justin watching. It'll be worth it. Let's see here. Yeah, we're going back up to 3rd floor. Guess I need to kill these enemies. Because of the lady at the door, I want to take my time to put on the rings. That's really frustrating. So yeah, like Maria was blocking me and I couldn't back up. So I took another hit there. Gosh. Yeah, if these respawn, I'm just gonna throw in the towel, I guess, with the idea of clearing these enemies out once we go into Otherworld. you guys talking about? Hold on. Yeah, came out in 2001. Don't do FF6. So was FF6 just too dated for you, Justin? It's like you just can't go back to that time and take those that period of game seriously. All right, good. They're dead. Thank God. So I've got 7, and I mean, they've got that, you know, they've got the remake for 7 coming out, so it's releasing that 7 playthrough I did. You know, I played the HD remaster on PlayStation 4, so it looks really good, but it has, unfortunately, some issues with it as well. Some rather annoying issues. In particular with the music. But yeah, releasing that prior to the release of the FF7 remake, that'll be appropriate. FF6, it's like it might actually just be dead in the water. I do have a I do have a classic SNES now though, that has Final Fantasy VI preloaded on it. So who knows? All right. So let's do this. Let's listen to this. The last time I played through, I put the rings on the Lady of the Door, and then I came back and saved. Because you can, and I very well may die a few times in this chase sequence. It can be a bit finicky. The main issue with it is that Maria will run in front of me, and if you shoot Maria a single time, she dies, and you have to restart. So typically, you know, when I'm playing through, if I'm doing this by myself, I'll put the rings on, and then I'll run back and save, just so if I die, all I have to do is just run directly to the fight, and I'm good to go. But I want to listen for that sound effect. And the last time, I think the last couple times I did it when I stayed here and I listened for a few minutes, but it was after I put the rings on. So we're gonna do this prior to putting the rings on. And I was just kind of rambling. I can't even remember if we saved just now. Yeah, we did. Most amount of playable characters to date. Yeah. That wouldn't surprise me. Only 8 playable characters in FF6? No, there's way more than that. I'm not sure I've ever played through the game and not had any health drinks at this stage. What the hell just happened? guess I give up on the sound effect. Again, I've never heard it on any of my playthroughs, so... Oh, come on now, man. They've respawned again. That's really weird. Stay down, man. Enough of this nonsense. Alright, so. It's locked. I love this design. There's a painting of a woman on the door. Oddly enough, the hand part of the painting is actually 3D and sticks out. So good. I mean, this really does look religious to me. Looks, you know, holy and ceremonial. Okay, so what we can do is combine these rings. It's definitely a painting of a woman. Yeah. It's just this random painting of a woman along with other women in this sort of old-timey garb. Just in the middle of a hospital. Just all of a sudden, you know, once it shifts to Otherworld, this is just a plain hospital, and then this one wall, we have this painting. It's so eerie. Here you go, Justin. Here's another blue journal for us. There's a note on the ground. Inside is some kind of hard-to-read writing. I took the director's key, the one to the museum. I hid it behind the praying woman when I went out for the day trip. I picked it up, but I did not steal it. I'm not a criminal. So here you have James again. Just another mental patient in the hospital. Another persona of James informing us about the next key that we need to get to the next place that we need to be for James's trial here. Yeah, it's like James's most rudimentary self. Here in Canada, we have lots of museums. Yep. That was good. All right, gentlemen. Wish me luck. And actually, as soon as we get in this corner here, the music starts to shift. Starts to pulsate. close.
Open up!
So yeah, for certain parts like that, I'll always just go dead silent, just because the transition is so good. But no, there's no infinite ammo. It's just you have to go into the menu here to reload. At least on hard action difficulty, you have to go into the menu here to reload. I think on normal, maybe not on normal, but on easy, it just auto reloads for you. But there is limitations. Like, we only have 76 bullets on hand. We're not doing so hot on ammo or supplies, really. However, we can take this opportunity. We're gonna have a nice little intermission where we're gonna be back out in the town, and we can run around and restock a bit and prepare, because the next couple sections of the game are even more intense than the hospital. Reality really starts to break down. And just like this is so awesome to me. Now that we come back out to the main lobby of the hospital, everything's different. Everything's all, boarded up and stripped down. It's like, we've probably been walking around the hospital. This is probably closer to what the hospital really looks like right now, in reality. James has probably just been walking around the hospital the entire time, and it's just basically looked like this. And now we have a save point out in the main lobby. But before we do that, here's the director's room. Just like the note said. I found the director's key. And this is a really cool part of the game too. This is where we find, Justin, you'll probably recall when I first booted up the stream, I was talking about the director's notes and how, all the patients in here. I think all the patients in here, all the patient notes and all that. Joseph Barkin, that's just James. Like, that's just an alternate James. But the director, I don't know who the director is. I don't think the director is James. I think the director is someone else. He's like an Ernest type character, you know what I mean? This is a really cool, because pay attention to this, because we're going to see a continuation of this letter shortly. And I feel like that's kind of not mentioned sometimes. Like, I've seen other people play through this, and like they don't link these two letters together. He who is not bold enough to be stared at from across the abyss is not bold enough to stare into it himself. The truth can only be learned by marching forward. Follow the map. There's a letter and a wrench so we get some new locations marked on our map here. Probably not, Kevin. I'm referring to Ernest from, not the Ernest from the movies, but a character named Ernest that's in the DLC for this game. The side scenario, Born from a Wish. I got the hospital lobby key. So we actually couldn't even leave the hospital if we wanted to without coming here first. And there goes Laura. The music kicks back in. So not bad. My strategy for doing that chase sequence is pretty solid. If I run into a wall or something and I don't turn in time, it can mess everything up and cause. See, the problem is Pyramid Head will just kill Maria. All he has to do is just stab her a few times on this difficulty and she goes down. So you really have to be quite precise. And that section, I mean, I'm sure there's other ways to do it, but that section of the wall where you can shoot through the grated part of the wall there, it's so critical. Yeah, Ernest saves Silent Hill. Coming October 2019. Laura has run off somewhere. Mary, what should I do? Are you really waiting somewhere for me? Or is this your way of taking? I'm going to find Mary. It's the only thing I have left to hope for. Now we're back out in the town. And again, we're going to take this opportunity to just stock up on supplies, which we'll need. And we're just going to switch to the chainsaw. We're probably not going to really need to kill anything out here. And for the most part, I'm just going to kind of sprint through and try to hit the highlights. Played through the game a few times recently, so I kinda know where most of the stuff is at. There's a lot of sections out here that you know, we've already been to. But it does refresh the items for us in this section of the game. So we just want to run on this near side for a while. I think there's some stuff down this path, but not so much on the other side. Yeah, there's some stuff over here. Good depiction, metaphor for depression. Yeah, that's to say the least, man. This is like the very lowest you can be in life. It's where James and Eddie and Angela are. Yeah, this is just such a nice break after the hellhole that's Brookhaven Hospital. You know, you're just constantly boxed in, dealing with enemies. And I think this is basically just blocked off this way. If we continue to run northbound on Munson Street, it's blocked off. So we're not even gonna try. There is an area that's blocked off that I'm gonna intentionally run to, because there's a really cool design choice at the very end of the road. It kind of reminds me of like a Dark Souls level design, but it further represents the breaking down of reality out here. There's been a subtle breakdown of reality since we started the game. You know, clearly things, you know, all the characters here are suffering their own trials, their own delusions here, but the further along we go, the more apparent it becomes, the breakdown of reality, the hopelessness, the isolation of the characters. Lots of depression fodder here. Depression porn. Sparse musical riffs. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of melodies. In fact, if you watch the yeah, I forgot about that. If you go AFK here while holding the chainsaw and you don't move for a while, James will do that. He'll scream. It's only with this weapon. I really don't know what that's all about. If it's like a reference to something or what, some sort of movie that's a reference to, I have no idea. I'll wait for it to happen again, though. Yeah, dude, I completely forgot that's a thing. Come on, James, do it. That's a little weird, though, that he did it. Like, I was AFK for a while earlier listening for that Pyramid Head sound effect, and he didn't do it. But for some reason, he did it there. I felt like I was just sitting there for like 20 seconds, but he did it. And now he's not doing it. Come on, man. Alright. I was gonna say something else, too, but James screamed because of that chainsaw thing that he does. And I lost my train of thought. I was gonna say something important, too. Yeah, these creatures here. That's unsettling, just looking down at the floor there. Wow, they just stopped, too. That's weird. Are they gonna come back if I walk back out here? No? You know what? I'm not sure if I've ever realized that. That's one of those, this is just one of the rewarding things about playing this game like this, like the repeat playthroughs. And there he goes with the chainsaw thing. So we got to see that. And a new revelation. I'm going to have to do this every time now. But I'm not sure if I ever knew this. But apparently these monsters just go away. If you get on the other side and you stop for a while. And I'll tell you what, you know, the way I manipulated the camera there, like I flipped the camera around. And the way I had the camera set, like I was trying to look at the enemy, and he just ran away into the shadows. That was really weird. That was so bizarre. Yeah, really. But yeah, those are enemies in Silent Hill 3. They're called mandarins, and you actually fight them straight up in Silent Hill 3. That's so amazing. I've never... I really don't think I've ever realized that. And now, we're in familiar territory. Back at the RV at the start of the game by Happy Burger. I'll be waiting at Bar Neely's. Go ahead and just go inside and take a look, because we will go by Neely's Bar, because there's going to be another message there waiting for us. A new message. There's a memo lying on the sofa. I'll wait at Bar Neely's. Bar in all caps. A lot of people think that there's some sort of significance to the all caps theme in this little segment of the game. You know, bar in all caps in this note. And then once we get at to Neely's Bar, there's another message there with another word in all caps. And some people think there's obviously some sort of connection, but some people think there's some real significance to it. I've never really, I've thought about it, obviously. I think about it every time I play through the game, but I've never really been able to make too much sense of it. It just kind of seems like one of those, references to me, where it's like it's a Stephen King type reference, and I mentioned that in my playthrough I did for the channel. It seems like something out of The Shining, a message written in blood. Straight up out of The Shining. There's Shining posters in this game, for God's sakes. Team Silent is thrilled with The Shining. Drew a lot of inspiration from it. So I'm running down the area I want, but I didn't run into a lot of the items I thought I would. Huh. I'm starting to think this playthrough just shuffled a whole bunch of stuff for me. Really screwed me with enemy respawns. As well. Something about playing on extra riddle difficulty, I think, even though the action difficulty should still be the same, theoretically. I think it just I just have a sinking suspicion that it kind of shuffles certain aspects of the game. Maybe it makes things more RNG. And here we're back at Neely's. Actually, I thought we were still a little bit away, but no, we're here. Came up on me fast. Yeah, this game, that's another one of those things. Oh no, now I remember what I was gonna say. You were saying, okay, James, enough. You were saying that there was not a whole lot of melodies in this game. And this thing that you just said now also reminded me of what I was going to say, because in the making of Silent Hill 2, Akira Yamaoka, the sound designer for this game, he says specifically that he's not a fan of melodies. So it's funny that you should say that. He's like, I don't think, I forget exactly what he says, but he's like, I don't think that melodies are the most essential part of music. But then he goes on to say that, there are a few songs that he designed specifically with a certain melody in mind. Like Laura's theme, the opening theme of the game. It's meant to evoke lots of, human emotion. And you were saying, as well, the feeling of isolation in this game. That's another thing they made the game, that's a core theme of the game, basically. Like, that was one of their design choices. Like, there's a lot of really long runs, especially at the start of the game, where you have to run through the forest, through the graveyard, into town. It takes forever, and they made it deliberately lengthy to add to the feeling of isolation. Yeah. Your observations are on point, because that's precisely what their intent was. So the map that was sitting here earlier in the game is gone. The map that James basically left for himself here. And here is a new message waiting for us. When we first came here... So when I do these playthroughs, I should probably walk in, turn around, show the message that was here earlier, and then flip over to reveal the other message. Pretty sure that's what I did in my playthrough for the channel. So, the first message, there was a hole here. Hole in all caps. You know, echoing that, the all caps theme that was in that note we found in the RV. There was a hole here. It's gone now. And now over here, a very direct message. If you really want to see Mary, you should just die. But you might be heading to a different place than Mary, James. Totally missable and optional. Like, you don't have to come to Neely's bar at all throughout the entire game. You don't have to come here early to get the map and see the other message on the wall. And you certainly don't have to come here at this stage to find the secondary message. Kevin. It's creepy, those mannequins, they're so quiet. Some rifle shells. We don't have the rifle yet, but we'll use it eventually. Okay, so I think we want to run on this side of the road. There's something over here. Let's see how we're doing so far. 72 shotgun shells. Back up to 136 handgun, so that's looking better. Back up to 7 health drinks. Okay, all right, we're doing okay. We're not doing so bad anymore. This is fine. On this difficulty, Kevin, it's testy. It depends on which enemies you're fighting. These basic enemies here, you can take quite a few hits. Like the nurses, you can take maybe 3 or 4 hits on hard before you go down. The lying figures, the ones that cough at you, you can probably take 5 or 6 hits from those before going down. But the boss fights will end you pretty quickly. And there's certain bosses that will just one-shot you, regardless of your health. So there's certain mechanics that, in some fights, where it doesn't really matter. You just, if you get hit by some attacks, you're just gonna go down. Yeah, there's no health bar, but there is an indicator. Like here in the main menu, in that top left corner there, you can see there's like a picture of where we are in the game, and it's glowing green. That green, it means that we're full HP. If we're like mid HP, it'll just, be transparent. And if we're close to death, it'll be flashing red. Also, the controller will vibrate when you're extremely low HP. When you're 1 hit from death, it'll start vibrating. Yeah, it's a really interesting menu. But here, we have the letter that was left to us by the director and the wrench. And remember how I said to pay attention earlier, because there's a continuation of the letter in that office, and this is that continuation right here. So we'll grab the wrench, and then... Or perhaps you are a fool. The truth usually betrays people. So it just starts this letter just starts where the last one ended. This isn't the beginning of a new letter, but rather just the continuation of the other. And this is how you can tell for sure. A part of that abyss is in the old society, because he leaves that quote for us: "He who is not bold enough to stare into the abyss." So a part of that abyss is in the old society. So just a continuation of that. The key to the society is in the park, at the foot of the praying woman, inside of the ground, inside of a box. To open it, I need a wrench. My patient buried it there. I knew, but did nothing. It made me uneasy to have such a thing near. I wasn't looking for the truth. I was looking for tranquility. I also saw that thing. I fled, but the museum was sealed as well. Now no one dares to approach that place. If you still do not wish to stop, James, I pray to the Lord to have mercy on your eternal soul. So he just speaks directly to us at the end. And for some reason, for many of the notes in this game, obviously I've repeated myself a lot here, but I just think it's, James's imagination leaving himself notes. But this note just seems to be from someone else. It seems to be from, the spirit of the director, the old director of Brookhaven Hospital. And I think we actually see a picture of this guy. I really want to say it is this guy that we're going to see here in the Historical Society. There's a picture of an old director of Brookhaven Hospital there. I get a feeling it's there because that's this guy, this director. He's just speaking directly to us now. He's involving himself in our affairs in a way, as many of the spirits here seem to, they can sometimes meddle. And we're gonna run back here. This is a dead end, but this is that dead end that I was telling you about earlier, where we got like a Dark Souls-esque level design back here. It's really reality breaking down. I think I'm gonna need to kill an enemy or two. See, I'm trying to do the strong attack there, and it's just doing that fast attack instead. The one that leaves you super vulnerable. That's the one that I want to do every time. The one where you kind of lunge forward. That's the strong attack. Oh, hey, thanks, Kevin. Thanks for stopping by, man. Good to see you. Have a good night. But yeah, check this out. The road just ends abruptly, and it just turns into abyss. You can see like a tree down here. The electrical posts, but then just abyss. It's like, hey, that's not right. When is my next stream? Right now, man, I don't have any schedule. I streamed a couple days ago. This was really just meant to be another sort of test stream for, audio and video. But things seem to be going pretty smoothly so far, so I'll probably just do full runs from this point on. I may do one, later on this weekend. I don't know. We'll see. I'm planning on doing this at least a few times a month for Silent Hill 2. But we'll see. Eventually I'll probably stream some other games. I'd like to. Yeah, I definitely will, man. We'll see you soon for sure. Stream every day or I unsub. Yeah, we're not there. We're not at that point yet. Probably never will be. That's fine though. This is just for fun. Okay, so I could kind of run back and maybe find some more items, but I think we're good. I think we can cut to the chase. Kind of start heading towards historical society. I'm not sure if we're going to finish the playthrough tonight or not. Could. I mean, it's only... Yeah, it's one. We can go for a while. I really should have gotten some gear for this. Then we could have finished. Help you beat Bloodborne? I can do that, man. I've got 3, 4 characters. Have, you know, full gems, so I can do that. Is that an item? No, that's just a rock. Yeah, but we can come back here early game. I don't think I did it when you were with me yesterday, or day before yesterday, but you can actually come back here early game and find this message. The door that leaks in darkness, opening into nightmares. You're at the Gatling gun, dude, yeah. It wasn't that long ago, you know, that I was playing Bloodborne, honestly. It wasn't that long ago. I just had a random urge to play, and then I made a new character. I did the Bloodstone grind all over again for him. To what door is it referring? It's referring to that door, the one that we just walked through. The one, it only opens at night at this part of the game, after the hospital. You know, as soon as we get out of the hospital, we're back out in the town and it's turned into night. And then we go back to this door that was by Woodside Apartments. You know, so, and it was locked early game. Okay, so again, we could, I think there's some stuff down Cat Street. Probably wouldn't hurt to just meander down there. I think this is the way. Some stuff right here. I think we can basically just sprint to the very back here. So many enemies, though. Oh, yeah, here it is. Here's some stuff. Excuse me. Slut. Thought it was a foreshadowing message, yeah. It kind of is. I mean, in a way, it's kind of foreshadowing. It's like, hey, you're gonna need to come back to this door. This message might mean something later on. So if that message kind of sticks with you and you get out of the hospital and it's nighttime, you're gonna go, oh yeah, the door that wakes in darkness. Go back there and check it out. So. Because, I mean, you know you need to get to the historical society at this stage in the game, but you don't really have any direction. I mean, it's not too difficult to figure out where to go. There's only so many paths to take here. But that message does kind of help. I think that's it. That's really all we need to do. I love this intermission, though, just after, I think I probably already said this, but I love being able to just kind of wander around the town after the hospital and enjoy this, even though there are enemies around. It's still a little stressful. You can just kind of run by everything, and it's mostly just serene. I think there's like maybe 1 or 2 items over there across the street at Jackson. I don't think we really care about it, though. There's some stuff here. We need to visit the statue of Jennifer Carroll. Are you sure about that? Or is that still just kind of a theory? I mean, it is the same Mary and, oh, they have Angela's voice. Wait, what? The nurses have Angela's voice? That doesn't make any sense. That can't be. Are these, I mean, are they following me back here? They are. Telling you, man, like sometimes these enemies, like they're just kind of jumbled up. I'm not sure if I've ever had one of those things follow me all the way back here like that. There's that one that's always back here, but we killed that on the way in. Okay, so here's Jennifer Carroll again. Versus Angela 100%. Yeah, it might not mean anything because she lives in Japan. Could be, yeah. But when you think about the sound design of this game and really the design of everything in this game, it's all intentional for some reason or another. So I have a hard time believing that that's really Donna Burke there. So now we can interact with this patch of dirt. Will you dig? Yes. It just sounds like Donna Burke, yeah. The small metal box is fastened by bolts. I can't open the lid. Alright, so now we will use the wrench. 166 handgun bullets. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure I've had over 200 at this point before, though, so I'm still behind where we could be. But regardless, let's use this wrench. I got the old bronze key. Alright, so now we can head to the Historical Society directly. And I'm not sure, like, I set out this stream to kind of finish the game, but as it turns out, it's really easy to just kind of stand around and talk about things, even though I really didn't want to do much in-depth commentary for this run. But yeah, it really stretches out the game a lot when you do that. There's actually something really cool back here. Getting pretty easy to miss. Yeah, kind of depends. I have a few saves, like, you know, game results saved on this memory card, where I've beaten it in like 3.5 hours now. But even that is kind of stopping to look at things, you know, on occasion. I don't think I've ever done just a straight run of the game where I don't watch the cutscenes and I don't look at things and, you know, acquiesce a little bit. But I think 3.5 hours is like the absolute fastest I've done it. At my own casual pace. But I mean, if you speed run it, if you just skip all the cutscenes, I'm sure you can do it much faster than that. If you don't stop and, you know, do what I'm doing right now, like kill all these enemies, and it's gonna save you tons of time. That's one thing I've noticed on Twitch. You know, when I look, and I do this quite often, I just look at, you know, the game Silent Hill 2, and I see who's broadcasting it. There's never anyone that's just broadcasting the game and doing commentary, except for occasionally 3Dog, like once a year. Now, aside from Dog, there's no one. It's just speedrunners, man. Every time I look, it's just always someone speedrunning the game. This seems like the most sacrilegious speedrun game to me. I mean, I can understand why speedrunners would want to do it. It does, in a way, just kind of seem like a fun game to speedrun in that sense. Because there's a lot of things that can go wrong, a lot of interesting things, I'm sure, that could ruin a speedrun, make it intriguing and thrilling to do, you know? But, it's just, yeah, it's horrible. Like, every time I look at you know, the broadcast, it's just always a speedrunner. Like 1 or 2 speedrunners, that's it. Exactly. It's, when I play through the game, I just want to go at a walking pace for the most part. Just kind of calmly observe. A lot of cool art back here. These billboards. And here we have one for the Lakeview Hotel. which is obviously the final destination of the game. And back here is something really cool. We're gonna need to kill one more enemy though. Well, I say really cool, but it's just kind of more of what I've been saying since the start of the game. All of these little details here where James is just, you know, he's like seeing himself dead, and you know, here's another version of James who's dead, and he's left a map here as well. So we actually can't get anything from this map, but we can inspect it. There's a map here. And this is really interesting to me. But we lean down and we look at this map. It's marked very similarly to how James marks his map in our menu, with the circles and the X's and the lines through things. And we found some of these already. We found one in Bar Neely's earlier on in the game, or Neely's Bar. And yeah, that's James's model. These are littered throughout the town. You know, we got the apartment gate key from this model. This is the model that's sitting in the armchair in front of the, you know, the television with the static in Woodside Apartments. It's just James again. There's multiple parts of the game that have this model. But it's interesting to me just because this one has the map next to it, you know? It's just like linking, it's like connecting the dots here. Trying to connect the dots for you. It's like, hey, these aren't just random maps that you're finding that, you know, have stuff in them that you need to see. And here's some more Abyss. This is just straight Abyss here. I'm actually starting to lose my voice a little bit. But yeah, this is... You can't even see anything past the darkness here. The road just freaking ends. Yeah, well, that one on the ground back there, and then the one on the ground where we get the apartment gate key, their heads are completely mutilated. But the one in the armchair, you can clearly see it's James's hair. You know, you can see the parted hair, and you can see the head more clearly, the back of the head and skull. It's just, the head isn't as obliterated as the other models. But you can still see it's James. He's got that jacket on. He's got the jeans and the black shoes. That's how you can tell it's him, those jeans and the black shoes. So here we go. We'll see how far we can get. I'll try to like not stop and talk about things as much. Although it's just kind of impossible in certain spaces like this. I just kind of refuse to not stop and look at some of this. And again, you know, it's just you never know when like some weird sound effect may play. And it's really cool, like just this one stream that I've done so far, like we learned something about the game definitively that I'm honest to God not sure I ever knew, which is really cool. So totally fucking worth it. And here we go. Yeah, get to the rowboat. Yeah, I'd like to do that. See, the problem is when you get to the rowboat, it's like might as well just finish the damn game, man, because you're right there at that point. Not a whole lot to do in Lakeview. But we'll see. I think we'll definitely do prison. See, it's 1:30. I mean, I think we can at least get through the prison section. Maybe get to the labyrinth. The problem is just there's puzzles. I got to do the cube puzzle, and it could either take 5 seconds to do that, or it could take like 5 minutes. You know, it's just there's just certain things that might slow me down. I'm not sure how much I want to do. But the classic misty day here. There are a lot of, you know, scenes and cinematics at Lakeview and at the end of the game as well. There's like a half an hour of roughly, not really, but more like 15 minutes of dialogue and cinematic at the very end of the game. You know, the final letter from Mary, the final dialogue from Mary to James, and the ending theme. It's him. There probably used to be a painting here. Only the explanation remains. Waterfront landscape. Alan Smith, date of birth and death unknown. A scene of this area from long ago. From the style, it looks like it was done sometime around 1820. There were a lot fewer people then, and only a handful of buildings. Maybe that's back before it was even called Silent Hill, like in Lost Memories. The town once had another name. That much we know for certain. I feel like there's a lot of stuff in the prison here. A lot of portraits, you know, pictures. That's like depictions of shit that's been in the town for ages. Since, you know, probably since before it was Silent Hill. But here, I'll tell you what we could do. Since I've done leave ending already for the channel, we can do rebirth ending. We can do that instead. That'll make things a lot easier on me too. Just not having to keep my health in the green and stuff like that. So yeah, let's just do rebirth ending. I was gonna just not pick up one of these items, but here we have the obsidian goblet. I kind of like the rebirth ending. I think it's my second favorite ending, to be honest. It's like the total opposite of Leave. It's like James has learned nothing, and he's lost his fucking mind. He's become totally absorbed in the town, and he's just conceded that he's lost his mind, and he's just buying into the town's rituals. He's like, I forget the exact line, but he's like the gods, you know, he's like, if you venerate them, it's like if you respect the gods of the town, it's like they'll grant you favors. He's just totally, he sounds like Ernest. He's lost it. I think I love the rebirth ending almost as much as Leave. It's just not as emotionally resonant to me. Yeah, it's weird how some of these photographs don't have any descriptions at all. This one looks like it would be from... This one looks like it would predate, you know, the town being called Silent Hill. Early 1800s. Brookhaven Hospital, 1880. Built in response to a great plague that followed a wave of immigration to this area. It was originally little more than a shack, but it gradually grew and grew. And here we have the director. A photo of the director of the old Brookhaven Hospital. It looks like he was a famous person in town as well. So that's also something to note. It looks like he was a famous person in town. I think this is the guy that, you know, this is the director's note. This is the guy that left the wrench for us. That's what makes sense to me. We have this man to thank for being in this building right now, essentially. He's right here. He's side by side with this hole too, with the painting of the hole. he's smiling at you as well. He's just kind of like, yeah, like this is what awaits you. And this is definitely disturbing to me. There's a photo of a deep, deep hole. What could this be? And we're gonna be here, you know, very shortly, in this exact room, looking down at that hole. Just why is there a painting of this here, you know? And here's where, you know, if I was doing a full playthrough, I would be walking down these steps the entire way, you know, because, you know, the ambience builds as we walk down, as you well know, like the horn noise in the background. I don't know what that is. It sounds like a horn of some kind, like a boat horn almost. You know? Like we actually read a story down here in the prison about a bunch of people in town drowning to death in Toluca Lake. And there's like a memorial talking about how there, you know, by Toluca Lake in Rosewater Park that mentions about, you know, it's a memorial, I think it says to the 29 dead and resting at the bottom of the lake or something like that. So there was some sort of tragedy that happened at some point. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and sprint down here. The closer we get, the more intense the horn becomes. What is water, rebirth, and leave? Yeah. I know you like water, man. Most people prefer water. Yeah. I just really I like the idea of James getting a chance at redemption. It just seems so hopeless for him. I just like that that's a possibility for him in the end. And with all the shit you go through here, if you play it right, I just feel like James legitimately does deserve a shot. Okay, no more chainsaw, I think, for the rest of the damn game, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But with what happens to Eddie and Angela, too, it's like their fate is just it's so dark, man. I like that James has a chance to make it out. There's a beetle out here too. So what do you think that sound is? Is that like the sound of someone swinging, like on a noose? Kind of sounds like it to me. We have like a theme with nooses and hangmen in this section of the game as well. I believe seems to contradict the tone. I don't know. I don't think it does, man. I don't think it contradicts the tone. I mean, Laura is... It's the optimum ending. It's what... I think it's really what Laura wants from you. She wants to guide you out. You know, in that ending cinematic, she kind of disappears before James. Like, that to me, that's like her spirit kind of leading James out. I mean, there's good entities here as well. Like, you know, Laura is a very innocent force in the game. There's forces that are fighting for James as well, that are, you know, that are hoping that he pulls through and makes the right decision. Toluca Prison Camp. Built during the Civil War, later became Toluca Prison. Yeah. I like the idea of being able to defy the gods here as well. I mean, that's another theme of the game. You can defy the will of the town, the will of the cult, of the order. It's just not likely, you know. Like, once you, I'm with you in that respect. It's clashing with all of the other results that you get in the game, because all the other results are far more likely occurrence. Death by skewering. An execution at the prison. Death by skewering or strangling. To choose his death is the prisoner's last taste of freedom. This is like executioner memorabilia. This is like really interesting to me. And then, of course, this one. The painting is hanging here. Crimson and white banquet for the gods. Clearly, you see two executioners standing there with their pyramid heads on. Some sort of ceremonial garb. Power fantasy. I don't know, man. There needs to be a path to redemption. And that is, I believe, is just simply redemption in this game. You know, James comes to realize what he's done, and he accepts it, and he's done everything he can to, you know, see Mary one last time, and he gets to have that one last final conversation with her, where, you know, everything gets put to rest. It's like the perfect resolution to me. There has to be some sort of way for James to redeem himself, some sort of result for that to happen. Some sort of way for that to happen. Every other result is just James dies or he becomes absorbed, you know, with the cult aspect of the town and rebirth ending. Or he you know, leaves with Maria. That's arguably worse than In Water and Rebirth. The one where he leaves with Maria, because he's so delusional. He hasn't learned anything. He's just gonna leave with Maria, and he's gonna continue to learn nothing, and he's just gonna be tortured forever, presumably. The town is just gonna continue to fuck with him. He's a hopeless case at that point. He's the same as Angela and Eddie. The hole's dark, and I can't see anything. Will you jump down? Yeah. Alright, so here we're trapped. However, we always face the same direction in this scene, and the weak spot in the wall is always at the same point. So if we turn around, we're gonna see this little, patch of wall here, and this is the weak point in the wall right here. It's just a wall. Huh. This is different. Just this spot here feels different than a normal wall. I wonder if I could somehow break it. So everything else around us, it'll give us a message saying something like, can't break through this, can't climb up this, or something like that. But in just this spot, it's not even James's weakness necessarily so much as he's just totally delusional. He's totally out of it. He's not even himself, really. He's just a man with a mission. He's just totally entranced, trying to find Mary. He is like sort of passive, though, if that's what you mean by weakness. He's like very just out of it, and he's not, he gets worked up a couple times where like the trance breaks a bit. He yells at Laura, and he gets worked up. You can see his temper flaring up a bit, but yeah. I see what you mean. I love the sound that plays in here, that boom. There's a door at the bottom. The door is locked. That sound, it's just like pure shock, disbelief. You come in here, it's like there's two doors on the side of the room. There's a door on the floor, like a gate that you would see in a prison on the freaking floor. Sort of. I'm still kind of unconvinced what Pyramid Head is, really. A lot of me thinks it is James. Like, when you take that helmet off, you're going to see James in a way. But a lot of me also feels like it's just an executioner of the town. Like, it's an executioner embodying, James's persona. The persona that, again, like you mentioned, it needs to be powerful. It needs to be able to punish him for his sins. He even says that at the end of the game. He's like, that's why I needed you. I needed you to be able to punish me for my sins. So it's like James needed to create Pyramid Head in a way to it's because James wouldn't punish himself. He was too weak and cowardly to punish himself, to take ownership for what he'd done. Oh God, our light went out. What are we gonna do? But as soon as we pick up the spiral writing key, I mean, we probably should heal here because we're going to take some chip damage. Our light goes out, but we can use the dry cell battery that we picked up back at Brookhaven Hospital. As soon as we do, this happens. It's swarmed and attacked. And this combination is going to be different every time. We're going to need to put a 3-number combination in here. We have some clues here. It's only going to be these 3 lit numbers here, but we're going to have to keep trying combinations until we get the one we need, so bear with me. Okay. Well, there's one number down. Did I just hit the wrong number there? Son of a bitch. Wow. Really? This has happened to me like the last several times. It's gonna be like the last combination I try. Yep, one of the last. That's amazing. All right. "'Tis doubt which leadeth thee to purgatory." It's a suspect aspect of James's self, yeah. Looks like a canvas, yeah. So let's use this. Yet another hole to jump through. It's pitch black beyond the door. I can't tell how far the blackness stretches. Will you go down? I mean, as if we have any other option.
Killing a person ain't no big deal. Just put the gun to their head, pow. You killed him? But it wasn't my fault. He made me do it.
Calm down, Eddie. Tell me what happened.
That guy, he had it coming. I didn't do anything. He just came after me. Besides, he was making fun of me with his eyes, like that other one.
Just for that, you killed him?
What do you mean, just for that?
Eddie, you can't just kill someone because of the way they looked at you.
Oh yeah? Why not? Till now I always let people walk all over me. Just like that stupid dog. He had it coming too.
Eddie?
I was just joking, James. He was dead when I got here, honest. Anyway, I gotta run.
You're going out there alone?
Yeah.
Eddie?
You're going out there alone? Yeah. I love that Eddie's he's gone. He's lost it. Yeah. He's looking forward to going out there. Looking forward to killing some more. And a lot of people think this is a Walter Sullivan reference right here. I love that. Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah. But yeah, we have the spoon on the table here, and this guy's bleeding out. A lot of people think this is a Walter Sullivan reference because we read that note in the trash chute, you know, in the Woodside Apartments. We could actually bust out our memo and read it again if we want. But Walter Sullivan kills himself by stabbing himself in the neck with the soup spoon. So, and you actually see Walter Sullivan in Silent Hill 3, and he's got kind of long hair, if I recall correctly. It's been a while since I've actually seen Silent Hill 3. Or not Silent Hill 3, but Silent Hill 4, sorry. Not Silent Hill 3, but Silent Hill 4. And he's got kind of long hair, and this guy kind of looks like he's got long hair. It looks like it could be Walter Sullivan. Totally, to me. It makes sense because of the spoon sitting there. We find Walter Sullivan's grave in the labyrinth as well, along with James's grave and Eddie's grave, Angela's, other people's, Miriam K, which is another name that's very interesting to me. Miriam K. Because I think Walter Sullivan, he killed a guy named Billy Locane and his sister Miriam. It says that in that newspaper article, that same one, where it says that Sullivan killed himself with the soup spoon. I just find it really weird that we find a marked grave that says Miriam K. Traitor. It says traitor by it. It's like, who's Miriam K? We only see the name Miriam mentioned one other time in this game. I got the tablet of Gluttonous Pig. We get the tablet in the same room we find Eddie. I gotta stop talking about everything, man. This is not an in-depth run. But obviously we have the painting of the room back here. Painting of the room paradox. And then in the painting is the painting of the room. Oh, I'll tell you what. We need to save, and I need to take a 5-minute break. I think we're gonna at least do the prison here. We're probably gonna stop after the prison. Like once we get to the labyrinth, probably just stop there. It's a good stopping point, I think. That way, maybe I can even finish the game tomorrow. We can do Born from a Wish afterwards, because it'll be very quick. Should be very quick that way. That way, I can kind of continue talking about things leisurely, not have to feel like I'm rushing through. Alright, so hopefully my power won't go out after this next AFK. We'll be right back. Okay. Hmm. Alright. Honestly, again, I can't quite remember if we saved here. Yes, we did. So this place is relatively small. Not a lot going on here. Pretty easy to find our way around. We have 2 or 3 direct paths that we need to take in here. And we have this huge room on the right. And the sound design here is amazing, and it sounds like a prison cell, like a prison cell door kind of like clanking shut, like clank, 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 clank. That's what it sounds like to me. But yeah, we have this huge room on our right here, on the right side of the map. And it's one of those rooms wherein oh gosh. But yeah, like reality has totally broken down in this room where we need to put the tablets. Yeah, it kind of does sound like a baton. It sounds like a big, like a metallic door, like, you know, clanking shut. Got the tablet of the seductress. Okay, so now we have the tablet of the gluttonous pig and the tablet of the seductress. And I went AFK whenever I picked up gluttonous pig, so I didn't get a chance to examine it. But if we do examine it, we can kind of see this etching here. It almost looks like, you know, slightly more in-depth hieroglyphics. The way, you know, these characters are posed. Seductress is Angela. Yeah. All the tablets represent the 3 main characters going through the trials of Silent Hill. Gluttonous Pig is Eddie. Seductress is Angela. And it's kind of hard to see because it's very bright in the middle here for some reason. I don't know what that is. But you can see like it's like a woman kind of spread. She's got her legs spread. A very suggestive, provocative pose. But yeah, she's the seductress, you know, even Mama said it. I deserved what happened. You know, her mom just made her believe that she, you know, was responsible for the abuse. That she was actually, you know, seducing her own father. super messed up. And again, one thing that's really cool about this little section here, I always wait for some sort of weird sound effect to trigger back here, but when we walk back in this hallway, the sound changes. And I don't think we get this background noise anywhere else in the game. It's just unique to this hallway. And it sounds really cool, I think. Like, it sounded like this is a really cool background ambience that you would think would be used, you know, maybe in several places. Like 1 or 2 places. It just seems like one of those prominent themes that you would hear here. But you only hear it in this little corner. And you can go in this room, but there's nothing in here. It's just... One of the last times I played through the game, I just sat in this room for like 5 minutes. And I just did stuff, you know, on my computer, on my other monitor, with my headset on, just so I could see if anything would play, anything weird would play. I just get a feeling there's, like, with stuff like this, it's like, you know, it's very possible you could play through the game, come back here, and find something, like, or, like, you know, find a sound effect back here. It just seems so bizarre to me every time. It just... I always think there's got to be something more to that area back there. Really cool, though. Cool design. Saying ritual. We're not gonna shoot this one, but we're gonna shoot the one in the other hallway. It's a little bit more quiet in here. Books are scattered all over the bed and floor. Black magic from the abyss. Resurrection of the dead. The Chronicle of Agrippa. Manuscript of the Iron Rings. I guess I shouldn't worry about this too much. Blatant occult text here. And here's that symbol that I said kind of looks like the halo of the sun. It has at least, I think it has the 3 circles inside, but the runes, the runic etchings are significantly more simplistic. There's not nearly as much going on as the halo. It's not the halo. Yeah, there's more. Like, we could have inspected more books there. There's other stuff you can inspect, more titles. And here's the big room. We don't need to go in there just yet, though. Oh, you mean no action books, yeah. Yeah, Agrippa was a biblical figure. Ritual. And the sound is so weird in here. You can hear it kind of glitching in the background. It's like cutting in and out. It's like... Not the dripping noise, but it's not playing right now. But every now and then you can kind of hear that sound, like... It's almost like a distortion of reality. There it goes. "436 people at a recital." No idea what this means. No idea. This has significance, though. This has significance to me, at least. Burning Man. So that's a picture of the Lakeview Hotel on fire. And it's never really shown. Well, I think it's shown. I think there's sufficient evidence to suggest that the Lakeview is actually burned down. We see this painting here of it burning. There's later on in the game, whenever we go into like the other world after we listen to the videotape, and we come out of the room, room 312, the room where James and Mary stayed, and as soon as we walk out of the room, the hotel has changed, and there's that weird music in the background. It's just like pure ruin. The hotel's like it looks all charred and burned, and the name of the track is even Charred Hotel, which is another detail that I point to when I try to back up that Lakeview has actually been burned to the ground. Was burned, maybe not to the ground, but it definitely caught fire. Whoa, did you hear the sound glitch out there? It glitched out again. And this is really cool because it's so quiet in this hall. If you didn't recognize it earlier, you can really recognize it now because the radio static becomes intense when you walk up to the cell. And you can hear that voice. It's so loud standing right here. And you can aim directly at this invisible man. And he sounds like a person. You hear that? He's like, ah, ah. Everything you shoot in the game, it makes like a monstrous noise. It doesn't. Nothing in this game is really human. Everything it makes a very, monstrous noise. But this entity here, it sounds like a person. And as soon as you kill him, that ritual noise stops. The ritual. It just stops. So whatever this was, he was the one making that noise. He's like this to me is like an occult observer. It's like a spirit of the town, a spirit of the order, just watching James, just observing the ritual, whatever ritual is taking place here. He's just an observer. There's one in the cell too. Or maybe it's like a trapped spirit of the prison that's an observer. Who knows? And he knows it's a ritual taking place. Lots of possibilities, but totally bizarre design. It's super creepy. Whoa! The sound just messed up again. I don't know if you have like your headset on, man, but man, that audio, I haven't heard it spike like that in a long time. Like the actual like track here, the way the sound glitches out. But yeah, I was gonna see how many bullets we have. We're doing okay. Not normal speakers, all right. But yeah, sometimes like that, the water dripping, it'll distort. Okay, so got the tablet of the oppressor, James. James is the oppressor. And just in case, you know, you weren't sold on James being the oppressor here, the iron bar door is tightly closed. I can't force it open. But if we just slam on it a couple more times... Wow, that time we only had to slam on it once, and it opened up. That was weird. Whoa, that was super weird, actually. Huh. I wonder if it's because we stayed on the message for so long. Had the message up. Weird. Normally you have to kind of force your way through that part. That's definitely one of the more disturbing noises in the game to me. It just kind of puts me on edge. It's like, that could either be the ceiling crumbling a bit, like dirt or something like that crumbling off the ceiling. Or it could be something like stomping above us. Which is probably what it is. When it goes crazy like that, you know? The sound design. Here we have a gallows. I give you blood to atone for the 3 sins, is written on top of the painting. Beneath the painting are 3 square depressions. Pretty cool. You can see 2 pyramid head figures with spears, and in the middle is a hangman. Actually walk up on top of this thing. There are 3 ropes hanging from the scaffold. 3 ropes. Whoa. Alright. So now, we can take the 3 tablets. And this sound effect there is kind of a jump scare if you're not ready for it. You gotta wonder just what the hell makes that noise. And as we walk back, there's a horseshoe waiting for us on the door. This definitely was not there when we came in. We're going to use this to get to the next part of the game. And this is one of those things where, you know, you step back and you look, you can really see the deterioration of the world here, the way everything's breaking down. It's like this wall is made up of like 5 different materials, 5 different structures. You got some like weird tile, some siding, some brick, some like a window here or something. Really messed up. You actually see some of these tiles in other parts of the labyrinth as well. So now we run back, opposite side of the hall. On the other side of the glass here is a lighter I need to pick up. Here's our lighter. This is one of my absolute favorites here. I knock on the door, but there's no answer. That's a jump scare. And in here, we have a save point waiting for us. This music is what plays in the bathroom area of the prison. This has got to be the only other area of the game with that music. You can't really call this music, I guess. There's a magazine here. I've never seen it before. It's probably a locally published magazine. Toluca Lake, the town's main tourist attraction. This clear, beautiful lake has another side as well. It may seem like just a typical ghost story that you might find in any number of old towns across the country, but in this case, the legend is true. On a fog-bound November day in 1918, the Little Baroness, a ship filled with tourists, failed to return to port. A newspaper article from back then simply says, it most likely sunk for some reason. Despite an extensive police search, not a single fragment of the ship, nor any of the 14 bodies of passengers or crew, has ever been recovered to this day. In 1939, an even stranger incident occurred. There are many pages torn out. Many corpses rest at the bottom of this lake. Their bony hands reach up towards the boats that pass overhead. Perhaps they reach for their comrades. Love that article. Really interesting. We see that memorial again by Toluca Lake, by Rosewater Park. It's dedicated to, those sleeping at the bottom of the lake or along those lines. And over here, another thing that's easy to miss. There's a diary here. Prisoners do not feel remorse. In fact, they do not feel themselves to be villains at all. Even the most uneducated brute will use what little words he knows to justify himself. And such trifling dreams they have, flourishing even in the darkness. Prisoners, too, are no exception. No matter how foul nor loathsome one's own life and existence may be, human nature is abiding. What an ass. And this is interesting here. Pay attention to this painting, because we're gonna see this once. We're gonna see this painting again. We're gonna be like in a weird alternate version of this room here in a little bit. Or at least that's the way I look at it. Some ammo chilling. Up here we have our rifle. We got a hunting rifle. Good stuff. This stays dead, thankfully. Painting looks so out of place. It's interesting. It looks ominous to me, man. It looks like it could be like part of the prison to me. It's like Toluca prison, the weird, like a dead pink sky. Something about that dead pink sky just, it's unsettling to me. I'm sorry, I'm just listening to this track. I've got it up quite loud on my headset. It just, like, I'm hearing noises I've never heard before. Like, I hear like a little breathing noise, but it's just part of the track. I've just never heard it. I've never heard it as part of the track before. But yeah, there's a little breathing noise that pulsates in this track. It's really hard to hear. There's a cover on the ground, but I can't open it. There's only a depression left where there was probably once a handle. Okay, so we can use what we just found. The wax doll, the lighter, and the horseshoe here. solve this puzzle in the most Silent Hill way ever. That's some strong wax, man. That's all I'm saying. Will you jump in? Another hole to jump in. Yet another. And this dude, this room coming up, this is where I heard a rare sound effect that I've never heard before. I'm gonna try to do exactly what I did the last time. So I inspected this. Did that just move, or was it only my imagination? Then I walked over here and I inspected these. The corpse smells nauseatingly like of rotten flesh. A horrible smell is coming from the hole. My God, in the hole. I didn't see that. I don't think I inspected all that the last time, but... So in this room... And it didn't play. But, one time, one of the last times I played through the game, it played a sound effect of a gurney being wheeled like down this tile. It sounded like gurney wheels rolling on tile. It sounded like a gurney being pushed. And it was just very brief. It was like, 2 or 3 seconds of it, and then it disappeared. Really interesting though. I've only heard it the one time. So, but I know it can play in here. Now, there's a hole in the floor. I can't see the bottom. How far does this thing go? The only thing more, yeah. Everybody loves the light bulb puzzle. It's not really a puzzle. The sound. The sound is just miserable. Like disbelief, like insanity. Total insanity and disbelief. And there's that painting again, with the pink sky, the dull, dead pink sky. It's not quite the room that we were in, but it's like some variation of it. For some reason, this painting is there. Again, there's a sink on the wall. Again, for some reason. Another hole. Do I really have to drop through it? And we are basically, I think, at the end of the stream. We're gonna ride this elevator down, and at the very bottom, we'll find the entrance to the labyrinth. We'll call it quits for now. We got these tiles again, the same one that was in, the same ones that were in the gallows room in the prison. Really, this door kind of looks like the same door that was where the horseshoe was hanging. slightly different handles. As soon as we walk to the far back here. Gate shut behind us. As if we haven't gone down far enough. It's add insult to injury. It's also slightly comical that after jumping into multiple holes where we see nothing but abyss, we're now riding an elevator down in luxury. And this is, easily the most terrifying part of the game. Right here. You get here, it's all quiet, it's just silence. There's a few parts of the game where it's just perfectly used silence. This area just looks so old, the way the design of the walls and the wood panel. The doors, just so simple. Just basic structure. Just a simple little maze, for James here. All right. So let's go ahead and save. So this is a relatively long playthrough, I guess, isn't it? 7 hours and 10 minutes. It's pretty long. I mean, I've had some that are longer. I've got one that's 11 hours and 44 minutes here, where I just took my sweet ass time. That was on extra riddle difficulty as well. Yeah, 11 hours, that's not gonna cut it. When we start doing this for real, I'd like to be able to sit down, early in the evening, kind of have this down a little bit more, have more of a routine, but be able to wrap up the main scenario after about 6 hours. I think 6 hours that'll. I mean, here's a 5 hour and 46 minute one. I think I can do 6 hours, 6.5 hours main scenario. And then another hour for Born From a Wish. I just kind of hate to, when I start doing this with a bit more effort, I really hate to, if I'm gonna stream it, I kind of hate to stop at the halfway point in the game, and then stream the other half the next day. It's kind of like I kind of want to make an event out of it. And even though it's not the longest game, it is a bit arduous at points. It's a bit stressful. Yeah, here's a 4 hour and 21 minute playthrough. That's basically just, that's just watching cutscenes and maybe looking at a few things here and there. Alright. I think that is it, my friend. Thank you for watching, and we will probably be back tomorrow, I'm guessing. Tomorrow night, hopefully. And we will finish up this playthrough, and then do Born From a Wish afterwards, for the icing on the cake. Yeah, again, thanks for watching, man. Take care, and I'm out of here. Have a good night.